Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Edit with Me. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Kaylee. I am a Florida wedding and portrait photographer, and today I'm going to be editing some images in a style traditionally known as film and digital matching. But if you're here to see a tutorial on how to perfectly match your film and digital images, you can click off because that's not what this is going to be. I am a film shooter and a digital shooter, and I am a firm believer that if I'm going to pick film for any particular situation, it is because film has its strengths in that situation. And when I edit my digital images to make a cohesive gallery, that's exactly what I want to do, make a cohesive gallery, not a perfectly matched gallery. I really want to honor film and all of its strengths whenever I shoot it, and so when I'm editing my digital images, I really want to stay true to digital and film, and I want people to know that I shot film. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to walk through a couple of these images and edit them and try to tell a story with these images through the colors and lighting situations instead of kind of cheating and making all my digital images look like film. Because in my opinion, if you're going to do that, then what was the purpose of shooting film in the first place? So let's go ahead and get started. So this is a sweet little engagement session that I took in St. Augustine, Florida, and I brought along a Pentax 645N and shot on a roll of Fujifilm Pro 400H rated at 200 and metered for the shadows. I'm going to begin with this image, and I'm going to go into my Develop tab, and I'm going to pull a reference image, which is going to be the film image that I took. So here's the film image, and here is my digital image. And like I said before, I'm not going to try and micromanage every single little piece of this image and try to make it perfect in terms of the film look, but I really want for it to tell a story and be able to just have enough tweaks and enough editing to where you know that I shot film, but you also know that I shot digital as well. So let's go ahead and begin. So the first couple of things that I see here are a couple of differences in lighting. So I'm going to head over to my basics tab here, and I'm going to first kind of mess with contrast a little bit because I see this image is just a little flat, and that's one of the downsides of digital is that it's a little bit flat. So I'm going to pull up my contrast just a little, and of course this is when you first begin to do this. This is going to take a little bit of eye training. You're going to have to do it a couple of times in order to catch all the details that you want to change and know exactly what to change. It took me a little bit, but I finally found my method, and I finally found that sweet spot. So I pulled up my contrast just a little bit. I'm going to come down to my highlights some, and I'm going to actually push my highlights all the way down to -100. I think that there is this reserved highlight quality that I really like about this film image that I really want to retain in this image here. Next is my shadows. I'm going to bump those up just a little. And again, there's no exact rhyme or reason behind, these numbers and things. It's just what I've previously played with and what I understand works in this particular, image, in this particular situation. So I pushed up my shadows a little. I'm going to bring up my whites. Yeah, my whites look okay there. Now, before I keep going on, I'm just going to remind you that I'm a big believer and a big practicer, I don't know. I believe that you need to work on your lighting and your shadows and your highlights before you even touch color in any way, shape, or form. Because when you touch your color first and then you go back and you edit your highlights and your shadows and your lights, your color is going to shift and it's going to change because of the settings that you've just plugged in your basic panel. So what we're going to do is we're going to approach lighting first, and then we're going to go through and fix our colors. So I just pulled up my whites some, and then my blacks, I see that the blacks here are so rich. So I'm going to pull down my blacks to about 30, 35. That looks all right to me. So the blacks look like they're beginning to take some shape and look like these here. So next I'm going to go down to my tone curve. And this is where all the magic happens to me, in my opinion. I love working with tone curve. It really shows the changes that I want when I'm trying to make a cohesive story with my film and digital images. So let's go ahead and pull down those highlights to, let's do 61. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to push up my lights to 30, 35. and it's really beginning to take shape here. You're really starting to see a similar depth here that you do in this film image, so I'm getting really excited. Next is shadows. I'm not going to touch darks right now. I'm not going to touch that too much because I think that what I'm looking for in the blacks of this digital image can be accomplished when I start to mess with color. So I'm going to leave my darks alone for just a minute, and who knows, I might go back and change it later. So I'm going to bring that down to 47. Looks good to me. I think that I accomplished that richness. I think that looks really, really good right about now. Okay, so now I've gotten all of my highlight qualities retained. I've got all of my lights and darks and shadows and highlights, everything that I've wanted to do with light and contrast done with. And I might do a little bit of tweaking afterwards, but for now I'm going to leave that be. I'm going to go on to my color. So this is the fun part, because here you see that the lighting quality is starting to look similar, but the two big differences are color quality. And you're going to see here, as soon as I start messing with the colors over here in the HSL panel, that there's going to be a couple of interesting things that are going to happen to the color palette, but it's going to require me to make some decisions and some choices because I can't perfectly match this image to my film image, which is fine by me because that's what I do anyway. I don't match it perfectly. I just try and make it a seamless, cohesive story. So let's start with red. And so it would probably be easier for you if I approached this by quality in the HSL pattern, but I'm just going to go through and kind of plug in some numbers that I've already written down, that I've already done beforehand, because all this takes, guys, is just some eye training. Like, go bring some film to your shoot a couple of images on film, take your digital images, and it just takes practice. Go home and try matching them yourself. I don't think that there's any specific trick or tool that's going to help you match these or help you, get a similar look. I think it just takes a little bit of eye training and just some practice and experience. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in. Actually, I'm going to do my temperature. I'm sorry. I'm going to do my temperature first. I'm going to do 5400, and then I'm actually going to take this down a little to -4. Okay, now I'm going to go back down to my color. I'm sorry about that. Go back down to my color, and when I look at the Fujifilm palette, I see that there are color shifts in the greens, yellows, oranges, reds, and maybe in the cyans and blue, or sorry, the aquas and the blues. But to be honest, I didn't touch these two panels at all. I didn't touch the purple or the magenta panel at all. So I know that I'm already going to be working with some greens, because look back here, this bridge back here, there's some green tints and tones. The water has a greenish tint to it. And her jeans, or her pants here, her jean pants and his jeans just have a slight color, maybe a greenish tint to them that I'm going to accomplish by messing with these color palettes. So those are some of the biggest differences that I see, are the colors in the bridge, the water, and then the colors in their pants. So I'm just going to go ahead and just paste those in and plug in those colors. And that's what I've got here. Now, the biggest struggle for me here was making sure that their skin tone was okay, because the biggest issue that I have with film matching, and with this particular image in general, is that there are a lot of different colors and a lot of different situations going on in these images. And I think that film is so good at retaining color palettes and clarity and just the true to life look, just true to life colors. And when I was messing with these greens here, I started to notice that while the bridge and the water were perfect and like on spot, I think that looks pretty much spot on to me, is that this concrete began to take on a greenish tint and a greenish color. And, I could go up here and formulate some kind of brush or do some kind of, radial filter or something on the concrete here, but I decided to just leave it because that would be micromanaging, and I'm not a big fan of micromanaging. We shoot film because it's quicker and it cuts down our editing time, and if I'm going to shoot digital along with film, I'm not going to backtrack and make myself go back and edit, all of these things and just completely defeat the purpose of shooting film in the first place. So I decided I was just going to leave that, and I know that you probably can't see the difference, some of you, but I can, but it doesn't bother me that much. So I plugged in those colors there, and that looks pretty good to me. Some of the differences that I see that I'm not going to really fix or change is that I see that here on this little strip next to the water is a little bit more contrasty. Here you can kind of see the details a lot better, but you can't really see details too much here. I think that's just a strength of film. You can catch details and depth, and it's really hard to recreate in digital. So that's, you know, I can't sit here and try to edit this and make it perfectly matched, you know, film, because it's probably unlikely that I'm going to get there. I also see the tint in the concrete, which I'm fine with. Her pants look almost straight on. Let me see my saturation. What do I have it at? I have it at 28. I'm going to leave it there. I think it looks good to me. I bumped up saturation. Here's what it looks like with no saturation. And you see her jeans change and their faces change differently, or change drastically. So I'm going to bump this up to, back up to the, where I had it, which was like 32. Actually, I'm going to leave it at like 30. And I think that looks really good to me. Okay. So now the whole purpose of this video is that I want to show you a tutorial based on how I create a cohesive story. So what I'm going to do to fulfill that is I'm going to actually copy these settings here, Command copy on Mac, and I'm going to pick all of these other two images here. I'm going to pick another image, and this is a raw image, and I'm going to paste and make any adjustments that I see. I see their skin's looking a little bit orangey here, so I'm going to pull down our oranges just a little bit. I think that looks good. And then lastly, this image here, paste. And the only adjustment I see is that I need to bring up my exposure a little. And I think that's good right there. Let me straighten this out. Continue. I'm going to straighten that out just a little bit. And I love the way that medium format looks. And so when I'm trying to tell my story, I want to actually create a cohesive crop. So I'm going to come down here to my my crop tool here, and from original, I'm going to go down to 4:3. Is it 4:3? Yeah, it's 4:3. I'm going to go down to 4:3 and done. I'm going to come here and also do the same crop ratio, 4:3. Done. And crop ratio 4:3. All right, fun. Let me get that straight there. And perfect. Now let's take a look at our entire little mini gallery, and everything looks cohesive to me. Everything looks good. Let's take a close-up look. Here, 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 and here. Okay, so sometimes when I do this, it takes just a second for my eyes to adjust and see which one is film and which one is digital, but I think that's what I want. I think when I look at I want my clients to look at my galleries and say, you know, oh, we know that she shot film and she shot digital, but there is no gap in between the quality of either image, and there's no major inconsistency that is just awkward to look at. So I think those are perfect. Cool. If you want to see this particular session in its fullness, you can click on the link in bio, or not click in bio, I'm talking about Instagram. Oh! Click on the link below and you can go to KayleeTrippett.com and view this session in full. And you can also view other sessions that I have shot on film or matched kind of in my terms, in my definition that I've matched. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and thank you for bearing with my stuttering and my mix-ups and things. But hey, this is a live recording, and so it is what it is, and you get what you get. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please reach out if you have any questions, or leave a comment below. I'd love to connect with you, and I'd love to hear from you. So have a great day. Bye.